Hey guys, so we're back with the armrest update for the Corolla. I had the initial one that was in my previous video that worked perfectly. I didn't have any issues with it. Now the thing was that I figured there might be a better way of securing it mounting wise, just so that it was a little more, I guess, consistently stable. The thing that I ended up finding with the first design was that if you leaned too heavily on the front portion of it, it would kind of pull the pin out of the backside just enough to be a little jiggly. And so it was, you know, you took the armrest off and you just replaced the pin and everything was fine. It wasn't that there was an issue structurally with it, nothing broke, it just needed to be redone. So what I ended up doing was I went back through my CAD and redesigned it. And so this was the original design, and you can see the wall thickness there. And so then it just had, it was not recessed on the backside or anything like that. And then it used these OE style push pins in order to keep it in place. And those pushed into these little rectangular holes. So what ended up happening was, after talking to a few people, the redesign now consists of this. It's very similar, however, these washers are now flushed in, they're recessed into the plate, and then when these are tightened down, the top of the nuts, or excuse me, the top of the bolts will also be recessed. And on the back side you have these type of push-in clips. Now these will expand once you run the bolt through and should keep it much more secure than what the other ones were. So I figured we would yet again go along with the installation, and hopefully this will be the last one. And then once this is in and test fit, then everything will be ready and this will be a marketing product. So it's got a nice, you heard that snap. So it's a little more centered in the cup too, which I'm a little bit happier about. There is going to be some kind of thin foam that's going to go around the edge here that I don't have yet, but either way, that snap is very nice. It gives me a sense of secure mounting. So next thing will be, if I can find the edge of my screwdriver. Sorry, I'm trying to use my 11-in-1. So this will then get tightened down. Tighten down. Now I'm also not torquing the living shit out of these because they don't need to be. As long as it is tight and snug, that I can tell you right now already is more stable than the other one was, and the other one was pretty stable. You can also, sorry, my hand is not making this any better. You can see how this is pretty recessed in there, so there's plenty of room to put like a card or cards or just any kind of small storage pocket type stuff there, which was less of an option on the old design. So the next thing will be, as we know, same 4 screws going in place. Let's see. So, sorry, bear with me here. This is one of the annoyances of installation, as I want to cover everything, but I also don't want to bore everyone to death. But if this is going to be something that's going to be marketed, it's better off having an installation video than trying to explain all this via pictures on an instruction diagram. So we will sorry about that. So I skipped ahead a little bit. I was trying to get some things situated tool wise and stuff like that. So those 4 screws which you can see, so I'm going to get my hand out of the way, will be installed just as the same as the old design. Then you will take this base plate, which comes with the kit. This will include 4 screws. You've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you can see. Then you will just, same thing as the other ones. These just get tightened down snugly. I'm gonna set this right here. Hold this so. 2, 3, and 4. So this is significantly stronger. I'm applying some good force here. Now, let's see. We'll touch on a few things. Right now, as it sits, this piece is completely out of the way. My arms are pretty long. This is not in the way at all. So ideally, I designed this for people who want something that's more comfortable for, you know, long distance trips, or if you're commuting around town. This car's my daily, so if I'm going to work and things like that, it's nice to have the option for storage, but it's also just nice to kind of have somewhere to rest my arm. Now, if I'm going to the drag strip or I'm going to the track or something like that, then I don't really want that in the way. So this is, you know, these 2 rails here, the whole armrest just slides forward and out, as you could see on my other video. But what I didn't touch on is that by doing this, you can actually just remove the armrest piece, leave this bracket in place for track days or whatever else you're doing, and you don't have to worry about, you know, uninstalling the entire thing. So that's one huge positive here. Now, the other thing that someone on the forum recently asked me about was the armrest itself. Now these, you know, they're nothing crazy special. They just have like a generic track on the bottom side, and there's actually, the company that makes it makes a bunch of other ones. So these should be compatible with other trims. So when the circuit comes out and you get red stitching and things like that, there is a red stitching option. When you get leather and faux suede seats, this is already black leather, so it's perfect. And then the other thing is that there's options for these that come with USB ports on the front and things like that, so that you can wire them in. I know some people had asked me about trying to integrate these 2 charge ports down here into the overall design. Now, it's possible, but the problem with that is, and I've tried explaining this, and eventually I might dabble in making one, but the problem is that there's still only those 3 mounting points underneath this base plate, and so you end up with the same 3 mounting points, but you're trying to extend the base of the frame out another 2 to 3 inches, which means that these 2 ports, they will be covered, and you could technically try to pull the wiring and pull the covers and integrate it into like a USB on the front of this, but you're still going to end up with the same 3 mounting points over a larger surface, and you're still going to have structural issues, which is why I thought this was the best option for now. Now, once I have some time, I can potentially gusset something and make it a little more, I guess, structurally rigid, but it's also going to bring up the cost. And so for something that's basic and hopefully not, based on my numbers, very expensive, especially compared to the GR Yaris one, which is $150, and you have to cut your seat material, which isn't my personal cup of tea on a brand new car. I think it's a good option. So, let's see. So, this will, as in the other video, let me just set you on top of my shifter. You move it over, slides back, and I will say that since someone commented on this before, the little bit of wiggle that you're seeing here, this is considerably less wiggle than the other one, and the wiggle itself is not coming from the base plate. The wiggle itself is coming from this piece, this underneath here, which is part of the armrest design. Now, keep in mind this can slide forward too, So I'm going to also insert a driving clip in here because a lot of people have commented that this looks kind of high. Now for me, as you can see, my arm is right about the perfect height that I need it, and the shifter is, you know, easily accessible. Like, I'm having no issues. My arm does not need to leave this. There's no problems whatsoever, and even if my forearms are a little bit longer than the average person, this can be shifted forward to account for that. So I will go do a driving impression and show people, and I will be back with y'all. Bye. Okay, first driving impressions with the armrest. Since people were asking about the height, I'm taking my dog to the vet, so this seemed like a perfect opportunity. So right now, this is roughly where I kind of keep my hand just when it's, oh, thank you. Just when I'm driving regularly, so you can see that comfortable for me. The shifter is still below where my elbow is, so height-wise, it's perfect. I'm in second gear right now. I've got no issues with any kind of reach. Even in third gear, my elbow's still back on here, and I can still keep my hand on the shifter. So if you have shorter forearms, keep in mind this whole piece can move forward some without coming out of the railing, so there's room for maneuverability there. And with it being a modular design, I'm sure some of the other armrests that fit on here are also different dimensions, which will help people. Now, you know, I just daily my car 90% of the time. When I'm at the drag strip or something like that, this will just come off, there's no issues. But in terms of, you know, just comfortable, I can downshift, I can use the IMT, I can use whatever I need, and there's never any, I don't feel like I'm shifting like from up here, and I don't feel like my arm is too low to where I'm shifting from like down here. So overall, I'm extremely happy with this height, and I think for the majority of people, it's going to be perfect. I'm sure there will be some people who have, you know, shorter torsos than me, or shorter arms or something like that, that might have, I guess, potentially some issues. But overall, for probably 80 to 90% of the average person who's using this, I think it's pretty much perfect. Quick shift, arms back in position, hands still on the shifter, everything's perfect. So anyway, that's a first impression just for those who had asked me about the height or said that it seemed kind of high or anything like that. I just wanted to address it so that people know I am seeing your comments, I am taking it into account, and I'm trying to do the best I can. I know that I can't please everybody, but if I could please, like, you know, 70% of people, and it's something that people actually want and use and is useful, then it's well worth it in my book. So anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.